My favorite coworkers here. Hey, Sinistella. Yeah, it's Friday afternoon. I am going to apply the grit tenant today, and we're going to get through this thing. Because yeah, this is the goal: is to make it through this section of the to-do list. Just what's highlighted here is the upgrade dialog. I think it's going to be tough, but I don't think it's impossible. So yeah, let's get started on this. Let's go find the new graphics that we added. Hey, Kyle. It's going well. Yeah, how are you doing today? We've made some good progress just in general the last week. I got done with that music track yesterday. I took care of some long-standing tasks after I streamed. Today we've had, excuse me, what did we get done with today? We made it so you can set prices on items. So yeah, you can now open treasure chests. The item spawn, you can go see the item price. You can change it. Customers will come and buy it. They'll eventually base their purchase on what you set the price to. And then, yeah, we're trying to get this upgrade thing to work now. So still a decent amount of work to do. I think it'll be another... like, let's say, and this is not how it's going to work, but let's say we had 2 more business days next week. We could have this done by the end of Tuesday. The reason I say that's not how it's going to work is because I think I can't stream all of Monday, and I don't know what Tuesday's schedule is going to be like. So I can't say it'll be done by the end of Tuesday. But yeah, probably 2 more business days after today. And we'll be kind of done with the gameplay at least. And then we'll just have polishing and balancing. So let's go find these assets. Sprites, UI, lootbox. Here it is. It's all in perks. All right, open with affinity. We're just going to cut this in half. So I'm going to set this to 201. I shouldn't really need to anchor this. I don't know what we set this to. Apparently you can... Oh, no, that doesn't work. What? How does this operate? Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, does that look better? Where's the zoom level on this? This is what this looks like when it's at 100%. There. It's pretty tiny. Got soccer on in the background, lowering my productivity. We're probably increasing your enjoyment. This looks very Skeleseller. Yeah, this is directly from Skeleseller. A lot of the graphics, the general gameplay idea too. I don't know what we used for theming this, but I think it was nearest neighbor. Let's look at it in Skeleseller. Perks panel tab. The tab container here. This is set to... Well, it's set to inherit. I think the project default was nearest. Yeah, it's nearest. So then that's probably what it's inheriting. So then, yes, this is correct. So we would do this. We export this whole document. Sure. As, what do we call this? This half size. All right, and then paperback sub. This one should probably also be half size. So we divide this by 2. Resize. Export whole document. Also signing in for co-working. I do need to buy a ladder first. Sorry, I can't help but read the word ladder and think of this joke I wrote a while ago as like leaving a hardware store. Do you say, see a ladder? It's very stupid. But now that's always the first thing to pop into my head. uh, what do you need the ladder for? New housework? Or did you put all your suitcases on top of your current place and now you gotta fetch them? They've been rained on and snowed on and now they've had like 100-degree heat beating on them. Buy it on Amazon though. I see. Okay, let's go change this now. This is going to mess up everything I did. Yeah, everything. Yep. And there it goes. There it goes, getting messed up. So we need to divide all these by 2. Hey, wait, that didn't work? Oh, you can't just press tab here? You need to press enter? Divided by 2 and... Wait, what? What's going on here? Maybe you can't change... I'm confused. Oh, because the max size is at here. Okay, got it. So tab does work. And then we got to change all the panel stuff that we had. Yeah. Custom minimum size, divide by 2. I don't know if we have any other ones here. So I think this would have broken all of these. Oops. That was divided by 22. Oh my God. I got to clean my keyboard. Yeah, when it starts double typing, I know there's too much cat hair accumulating. Just need a ladder for the house. You don't really own one. So it's a preemptive ladder. Gotcha. And hey, Goose. Original Goose. Gonna use the joke. Thanks. I always wonder if like other people have come up with this and already said this at a hardware store, and if anyone actually laughed. I would laugh. I would laugh at the audacity of telling a joke of that caliber to the average person. Those are some potent jokes. Gotta stop doing that. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we have this mess. This was supposed to help me. Why does this... Oh, yeah, I never changed the textures. I'm like, why does everything look squished? So we got to go find that dialogue scene here. So it's perks dialogue. And then instead of the pings that we have, we do half size. Is that what I called it? Underscore half size, underscore half size, yeah. So this and this, delete the UIDs. And there we go. Let's go load it up and it should look better. Whew, thank goodness. It still looks, well, I don't know, not the best maybe. I guess these perk icons can also be a lot smaller now too, like 32 by 32. Why is this offset? Yeah, what's causing there to be so much space between this and this? That's strange. It doesn't have a position, right? Position is 2616. Maybe because of how it's centered. I don't understand this. Scroll wheel not working as the cat hair builds up. Ah, I've never had a scroll wheel problem. At least I don't think so. Strange. Yeah, it's almost like the separation is much higher here, but it's not actually separation that's causing this. Yeah, strange. Does this have a minimum size? Oh, it does. Okay, well, that explains it. Oh, because the icon doesn't have one? It does, though. What is the problem here? Why does this need a minimum size? It should just be based on the size of this thing, which is a VBox container from the icon, right? Yeah. Maybe that's not how buttons work. Oh, buttons aren't containers. Oh. All right. Well, that's good enough, I guess. So how is this in game now? It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I think the artwork looks a little bit bad now. Like the scaling didn't work all that well. Yeah, I think we'd want this to be as crisp as it was in Skeleseller. Hmm. Hmm. It's like it's close to good. Close. So here's what we had originally, and I trimmed this by I divided by 2, right? Maybe we should set this at 202 and this to 216. Does that actually work? No. It still messes up the face. What if... No, I can't really change it in any other way, huh? It's got to use nearest neighbor. These other ones will probably look bad, right? Yeah, they look really bad. Makes it look kind of blurry. Hmm. So the thing is, after it's already been resized, like let's say all we did is divide this by 2 and just click resize. We can change this. We could like redraw the face to make it crisp at this size. Oh, whoops. That's not what I meant. I meant this. Yeah. Yeah. So we could just add another pixel here. In fact, I could even do that. Why doesn't it use the color when you do that? Yeah, and maybe make the eye shape look kind of similar. Something like that. I mean, not quite. I'd probably make the eyes into slits if we did that. Is this not the color picker anymore? Oh, well, it never was. And how do you change colors over here? Shift X. I don't have an easy way to do that. Oh, Shift also changes how you draw things. Well, I don't like that. So yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking of, but done better than what I'm doing. I am an artist. Yeah, there's no great way to get this to work, huh? Anyway, I just want to see what it might look like. I think just going for squares for eyes would probably be fine. Yeah, something like that, but higher up. Anyway, I'm not here to do that right now, but we could also just delete them from there. I could also just use the inner dialogue. I think that would probably look fine. Although right now this is looking super messed up. I just don't think you can resize this. Yeah, I think we just put this back to how it was. Whoops. And just use that. Oh no, but it's got the shadow that's gonna make it look weird. There's no winning, is there? Why did it look fine before this? When I shrank it by half. So scaling the artwork itself down makes the details look really bad. Did it look that way when I did this in the editor? I guess I just need to Command Z a bunch of times. I don't know what this was set to. I think it was 64 by 64. Yeah, there. And then this was changed. I gotta undo everything now. And it does not like when you undo everything. And I probably just lost it. Won't even open now. What's going on? Perks dialog. There we go. But I can't Command Z everything? Nope. Yeah, no, I can't. Oh, that's too bad. Maybe I can just do it through here? Nah, I don't have it all saved. All right, then we got to go change this again. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Doesn't even look like it's using the correct graphic. Why is that messed up? Is that what that's supposed to look like? No. What am I missing? Nothing's at half scale. Oh, I think it's the texture margins that are broken now. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't like this. All right. I might need to come up with a better way of doing this. You can't customize this in any way, can you? No. Yeah, no. We can't shrink it. It wouldn't know how to shrink. Yeah, so what I'm thinking about is in order to get rid of the just extra space that's consumed, we just use the white dialog. So basically, I just get rid of the outer panel and just use the inner panel. But I got to set all these values back to what they used to be just to test this. All right, let's go find it. So 178, 206, 186, 222, and then down here, it should just be multiplying everything by 2, except for it wouldn't get rounding correct. What did I mess up? Because obviously that doesn't look good. Is it the right graphic? 201 by 215? No, it's using the half size one. That's weird. Why didn't this get updated? Oh, maybe it didn't because it was using the UID and then updated the path afterward and then I deleted it or something. I don't know. If we hit reload though, it should look good. Yeah, perfect. All right, now the inner panel, we go change this to just all too large. That is pop-up panel. Doesn't sound right at all. It's not right. Sub-theme. Gotcha. Okay. 80, 73, 88, 72. And down here, 50, 50, 57, 55. Okay. So what if we delete the outer panel? I just put this up here and we just hide this entirely. This is what this would look like. I know it doesn't fit right now. Ignoring that part, let's just take a look at it in the game. Because I think the problem is that dark tan around here. Yeah, it's not very fitting. It doesn't look like a shadow. I think we just make it gray and it might be fine. Or even just delete it. Alternatively, we delete the inner panel and keep the outer panel. That would also potentially work. So we just put the inner content here, all of this. And then hide this. How's that? We could probably still make it legible. Yeah, I guess the real issue is still just the resolution of the screen. There's hardly enough space to render even one row of these. Like, you'd need this thing to scroll. Very torn. I think I like this pretty well. Just, it's not perfect. And you can't see the close button. And we need this in a scroll container. Scroll container. So put this here. I guess put this underneath it. And then outside of the scroll container, we have the close button. And then we give this a height. So this should expand. Oh, I don't think this is how this works. I think you need to give it a minimum height. That's expanding weirdly. Yeah, so this is what I'm thinking. And this isn't too bad. How many upgrades did I come up with? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I wasn't sure about this one. I mean, we could lower it to 6. There could just be 6 upgrades in here. Or we could shrink this a little bit and try to fit 4 columns at once. Or no, we can't expand it. Or we could lower this on the screen, expand it that way. You just don't see the whole thing at once. I don't know. If I set this back to 0.5, oops, I gotta stop doing that. This looks pretty decent. Why didn't it look good in Affinity? Huh, hey, Campbell Soup. Yeah, why didn't it look good there? Because then I wouldn't have an issue. Happy Friday indeed. Let's try and GIMP for a second and see if we have an issue with this. Whoops. Image, scale image, none, scale. Did that work? No, it also does something weird there. Huh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess doing it through the game is how we'd have to do it if we're going to do it at all. And this does look good. I just don't like how you have to scale this. There's got to be some way to do this properly. But how? Maybe this is no longer anchored? Oh, now it looks totally fine, right? Well, I can't expand this anymore. Oh, because it has a maximum size. So we would do something like this. I just want to set this to, Yeah, Maybe I'm supposed to change offset transform? No. Yeah, how do you do this? Like, I want these little green pins to actually match what we have over here. But the anchors don't work when we have a scale. Maybe that's the problem. Godot, scale, control, anchor. Blocking your render mode to viewport and letting the window do the scaling. Okay, maybe the right solution then is to put this into a sub viewport and stop worrying about this at all. Okay, let's try that. Because I'm running out of ideas here. Yeah, running out of ideas. So we'll put this back into gigantic size. That's too gigantic. How did that happen? There we go. So now this is back to, quote unquote normal. And when we add this into the loot boxes game, I wonder if we just put it into a sub viewport container. And then instantiate in the perks dialog. So we set this to 640 by, what's the other dimension? 380? 360. And then multiply these by 2. This isn't right. This definitely isn't right. And this is probably stupid too, because this is going to scale weirdly, isn't it? Yeah. Why is it showing up on top of everything? This is the worst. Yeah, this is really bad. Okay, well, we could just get rid of the anchors. This does not need to accommodate different window sizes. So yeah, we set this back to 0.5. We get rid of the anchor on this. I don't know, set it to custom or just position. Then increase the size of this. Set this to 1280 by 720. Okay, cool. Now we got to go figure out why this is not big enough. Minimum size. Is there a maximum size? Minimum size. These are probably just not set up to take the entirety of the parent. No, all those are fine. Wait, no, they can't all be fine. What am I talking about? It's already set to fill. What is going on? Yeah, I don't know. And even this is only getting its size because of no, it's got a size because of something here. I mean, I could just set this larger. We could just totally ignore pretty much everything. Just this like this by that. Yeah. And then just fix everything else so that they all match. I'm doing something wrong here. Yeah, I just know that I'm doing something wrong here. There's so many problems. All right. Whatever. I don't know. Close button row is here in outer content because there's some inner panel that's still visible. This is set to take up the right amount of space. Scroll container, I guess, would need to just be larger. We don't need a scroll container if we're going to render it like this, though. Although if we're going to do this, I should just put that inner panel back. This is silly of me. Yeah, we can just fit it in. Let's just put it back. And the inner one has the scroll container. And then well, this takes up the whole space. Yeah, this takes up the whole space. I can't just get it to do that. It's already set to expand. I see the close button is messing it up. I actually want the close button to be just like a control over here, maybe. Maybe I even just position it like that. So a center container is pointless, right? It's not really doing anything. I think so. I also turn this off, but yeah, let's put the close button just directly in the dialog there. Looks really stupid. Yeah, so this is what this would look like. And then we just need to change the icons so that they don't look stupid. So they're what? 64 by 64? I guess they can be double the size and they'd still look okay. Because they're technically getting cut down by half anyway. And then that makes it so that this needs to be a different size too. So we added what? 32 pixels over here and 32 pixels over here. It doesn't quite work. We need to increase this a bit. And now we might be fine. Yeah, I mean, now they look pretty large. Maybe partway in between those two numbers that I chose. So 96, I guess. Which is, I think, what they were in Skeleseller anyway. Yeah, looks good to me. And yeah, that's not too bad. We can just lay them out a little bit differently. 2 rows of 4. Yeah, how's this look when it's full screen? Yeah, I think it's legible. Yeah, I think this is what we use. Yeah, everything looks good. All right, I don't know. I think that's fine. We need to change the colors of the icons and everything too. Wait, I want to go back into that. Wait, what? I press down, it puts a level in. I let go, it puts another level in. That shouldn't happen. Changes needed to only add 1 level when you push a button. Right now, it's doing 1 on press and 1 on release. Something else I want to look into here. Man, my Weblate instance has been hit by some like bot traffic. And yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Docker logs follow, is it? Yeah, it's just bot traffic requesting like random languages and random links. And I'm not like, if it were a human, they could just download all the files. Like, I don't care. So if I go to this, you could always just click Skeleseller and just like download everything. But because it's AI, it's just going to like some random strings on this and doing something. I don't know what. I don't know what it's trying to do. It doesn't look like it's probing for vulnerabilities or anything. It's just fetching like, yeah, seemingly random links. Across so many different languages too. And I wouldn't even mind that if my mini PC's fan didn't spin up. But like, I can hear my machine when there's bot traffic. I don't want to hear it. Okay, so we probably need to check this in pretty soon, right? Oh yeah, and there's gotta be an upgrade for a portal too. Well, we've got space for how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 12. We got space for 12. Anything that is an even number should look pretty nice. So as long as we have an even number of upgrades, I think we're fine. And it doesn't exceed 12. We should probably have an even number of upgrades that doesn't exceed 12 for the UI to look nice. Yeah, so 2 rows of 4 would be okay, 2 rows of 5, 2 rows of 6. But like a row of 6 and then just 2 looks a little bit strange. And I don't know how 4 and 3 would be. I don't think it would look good. Yeah. All right, so this is done. Customers to avoid the perks board. Need the whole perk UI scrollable. Bring the selected perk into view. That isn't needed. So I did this. That part's now done. The part about it being an obstacle, it says resets now. That's too bad. Make the perk board an obstacle in the world, like how the treasure spirit is. That way customers avoid it. Yep, it just reset. Not so much for trying to get the last little ounce out of the prior 5-hour window. Okay, so tooltip information, I think will be a little bit of a challenge. And then getting all the colors to look good. This we also got to do, yeah. Get all of the colors and outlines to look good. We probably shouldn't have a focus style on the button. Or at least not a visible one. Yeah, so just modify this to add one thing, right? And now it's done. Running targeted scene load and hygiene checks to make sure it still comes up cleanly. Honestly, I just stop this. It made the one change. That's it. It's done. It works. I trust it. So now when we add a bunch of customers and we speed this up, they should all avoid the perk board, excuse me. They're not walking over here anyway. There we go. Yeah, I walked around it. Before they were getting stuck on it, and it was happening pretty frequently. Yeah, I don't think they're getting stuck anymore. I don't think giving them items does anything different. No, yeah. Yeah, so everything's fine there. Cool. So that was an easy fix. So let's go check this in. Then let's work on maybe tooltips. We'll need like perk information and everything. Perk levels, perks dialog, perk purchased. We don't actually use yet. That's on loot boxes? This shouldn't be here. On perk purchased. Invoke this. No. That's not how that should work. All right. Yeah, looks good. That's fine for now. So gd.print, you just purchased a perk plus perk ID. Yeah, I don't care to fill that in for right now. It could just be a print. On dismiss, perks dialog is not null. We do need to check that in particular. And if it's valid. I mean, you can't dismiss it unless it wasn't. Yeah, like it has to be valid. Unless you could get 2 dismiss events, I guess this is fine to do. It's just guard code. All right, this stuff. If cost is less than 0 or you can't afford it. I mean, if you can't afford a part is important. But if the perk ID isn't correct or if the cost is less than 0, that sounds like stuff to throw an exception for. Throw new. Yeah, invalid. And this stuff we can just do one of those. Cool. All right, that's looking nice. What else do we have? Unique name and owner. That's for the perk board. Perk board is here. Interacted. Yep, looks good. Looks good. Cool. All that's fine. Then a bunch of graphics. Don't care to look at those at all. Then we finally get to some interesting stuff. So perk button. Refresh state. This isn't even used. Why is this here? Why is this here? What a strange function I've added. Yeah, this we don't need. This should be called init. Yeah. And we have another configure function too I want to change. Really all the dialogues. These should all just be called init. And I always want init to be next to ready. In fact, I wonder if I should put that into my agents.md. When modifying a C# script for a scene, ready should be the first function in the file if it's needed. And any instantiation function should be next and should be named init. Yeah, so where else do we have configured? Did I change the rest of these? No. So this is init. We move the whole thing up to here. We fix the typo. It's only supposed to have 2 eyes, not 3. There we go. And then the last configure call is here. Cool. All right, going back to my new code that we have here. So we get an audio system, can afford, which is a function that we pass in. Cost container, cost label. Yeah, I don't like this style either. Well, no, I guess this is fine. This is the pattern we used earlier. But like the material on this thing, the material pretty much has to exist. I'm not going to get too picky about this though. This I hate. I don't understand why they would even make a wrapper function with an ignored parameter that then calls into another function of the same name. Like if it's going to be ignored anyway, just delete it. Okay. What else do we have? The scene itself I already looked at. I think this is fine. Yeah, this is fine. I don't see anything wrong here. Coin icon has technically the wrong filter, set it to nearest. Container, nothing there. This is set to nearest, but I actually think it's supposed to be linear. Yeah, that looks a lot better, right? Oh, that's loud. Okay, so I'll check what I did in Skeleseller for this. Where is that? Oh, it's on my other monitor. Hey, Magnus, how you doing? How's your Friday evening going? Because it's been a pretty good Friday here. Where do we have these icons? Unlocked perk button? Yeah, here we go. And the texture filter is linear. Yeah. RuneScape Dragon Wilds. What is this? Oh, is this like new RuneScape? I know there's old school RuneScape, which implies that there must have been a new RuneScape even before this. Is this just an expansion to whatever current RuneScape is? It's not listed as an expansion. Yeah, RuneScape here. Huh, why are there mixed reviews? I've never played RuneScape. Turned into a slogfest. Member status. Greed. 2007 has since evolved in its own right. Dragon Wilds is entirely separate. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm guessing you're liking it then, if you spent a long time playing it. You know, there are a couple of YouTube series I've seen of people who did not play certain MMORPGs when they were popular and are now playing them without any of the nostalgia. I've been watching someone play WoW that way, and it's entertaining for me. But I think people do the same thing with RuneScape. And I always wonder, has anyone ever made a YouTube series where they're like, hey, I'm playing this game that everyone loved, but I don't have any nostalgia, and then they hate the game and they're like, here's why it sucks? Because I think that would be interesting. Like, here's why older games haven't aged well. I've I've said this before, but I think that modern gamer expectations and sensibilities have changed to the point where there are some games that people wouldn't generally enjoy anymore, even though they were good games. And I think Super Metroid is actually a really good example of this. I've watched a bunch of people, just random people on Twitch, playing this game for the first time. And one, they don't play it like how someone would have played it back in the 90s. They generally look up guides, ask chat for help. Like, if you were playing around your friends, you would have done that. But when you're streaming, you sort of constantly have people there who can help you out. And there's almost always at least one person who's watching who's like more than happy to share, here's what you do next, and here's the next thing, and here's the next thing, and here's a secret in this room. It's like, you're just sort of following a guide at that point. But yeah, I remember sharing it with Ski a while ago, and I'm like, oh, you should really try this game. And he had a lot of fun for the first like 30 minutes, and then his fun level just like dropped off a cliff. And it was sad for me to watch. And I don't think he enjoyed it anymore either. So yeah, I wonder how many people go back to RuneScape and they're like, cool, it's 2026, we're gonna play RuneScape. And they're like, wow, I don't like this at all. I mean, if it happens, people probably just don't make YouTube videos about it. Maybe that's my calling. Be a grump. All right, so I set the right texture on this. Yeah. Let's move on to the next thing. It's the shader that we have here. This is, I mean, the colors are weird. I'll change this later. Yeah. Pouring rain for lunch at work today. That is one heck of a sentence. But hey, sounds nice. Sounds like you're really having a good time at this internship. I'm happy to hear that. Is dismissing. Why is this? Just to make sure we don't dismiss it multiple times. Yeah, I think that's fine. You might press the button twice. Is focus refresh queued? Refresh focus navigation deferred. Where is this called? Oh, because you might no longer be on a button that you can be on. Get focusable controls. Yeah, this is a mistake. I got to change this. Focus controls is get all of the perk buttons and the close button. Yeah, this is not great. Just add all the perk buttons, right? And is inside tree? Why was that done? Seems weird. Needed guys most were very obtuse in the sense that you were never given much info and are expected to figure everything out by yourself. Yeah. I think there were fewer things to get you back on track. I think some games were probably intentionally, well, maybe not intentionally. I think very few games were intentionally obtuse, but yeah, some games were obtuse. And there might be like a hint from a townsperson in some village you just didn't even pay attention to, or that was like 2 hours ago, and that was it. And yeah, so if you didn't remember that and you weren't following something, it's like you wouldn't be able to get back on track. And yeah, modern games that have like, oh, here's your quest log and here's the next step and here's the highlighted on the map, and so you can't really get stuck in a lot of the newer games. Yeah. But that's, yeah, I don't know. This is part of why I was thinking about that, a YouTube series where what if someone did go play an older game and they're like, wow, it's not holding my hand. I don't want to play this. I think it's a mindset you have to get into, though. right, so get focusable controls is fine. Refreshing these is not needed anymore. And actually to the point where I'm not certain I should even do this because this is an involved change. I should just tell how to modify this. Yeah, let me just say here. So get focusable controls will always return the same set, or should always return the same set of controls, which is every perk button and the close button. Perks should still be focusable even if they've been maxed. Make that change, and any cascading changes that result from no longer needing to compute the set of focusable controls more than once. All right. Anything else though here that is parallel distance, perpendicular distance? Wow, neat. I didn't know you could do this. Yeah, very neat. You can pass in a function for this? No, you don't pass in a function. It's doing this just once. Okay, but does that mean flow container does not have something like this on its own? Maybe it does. I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Is in direction. Yeah, this is kind of silly. Flow container, Godot, focus. Horizontally or vertically, wraps around the borders. Similar to how text in a book wraps around. How does focus work for this by default? How do you even test this? Can I go make a new scene and oops, not like that. Flow container. Let's just add a bunch of labels in here, I guess. Hi. All right, so something like that, except for this doesn't make sense with labels because you can't focus them. If I do this though, no, I need to make them buttons. Okay, let's delete it. All right, let's expand this a little bit. And then let's run this scene. I'll call this delete me. What I'm testing right now is how does it work out of the box with arrow keys? It's going to be a really tiny UI, by the way. Oh, this isn't that bad. Oh, because I have the resolution set. Yeah, no, it knows how to do this on its own. So I shouldn't need to do anything, right? And if you resize this, shouldn't it know how to change it on the fly? So if I go change this to be like that. Yes. Yeah. I don't think this was necessary for it to do any of that then. All this stuff about, what is it? Get perpendicular distance, everything, get directional neighbor should be unnecessary. Flow container itself seems to know focus order. So we just need to know when the focus leaves the flow container that it should go to the close button. So I removed a bunch of stuff here. Get focusable controls just returns focus controls. I mean, at that point, why even have this? Yeah. Yeah, this is stupid. And we fetch this only to get this here. Yeah, let's just rename this. Done and done. So the rest of this file is like, okay, get a directional neighbor, not needed. Get center, probably part of get directional neighbor. Yes. Get or is in direction, get parallel distance, get perpendicular distance. and focus direction. None of this should be needed. So we should just have purchasing, dismissing, which can apparently be private. Refresh affordability, that's fine. What is this? Unhandled input, pressing cancel or accept. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's all fine. All right. Well, let's move on from this then. This is perks dialog. So the next thing is perks dialog here. We looked at this pretty extensively already. And then separator. And that's just a graphic. And it looked fine in the game, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So add all of this except for delete me. Every time I say, okay, cool, my phone thinks I'm talking to it. And I changed some other things here too with the configure function name. I'm going to just check that in here too. So add upgrade dialog. This isn't great yet, but it's a good foundation. You can now access the upgrade dialog by interacting with the perk board. There are only fake perks for now. All right, so let's delete the delete me scene. And close this. And it crashes when you do that. Love it. Yeah, reopen. Yeah, for a while I'd go back and play Super Nintendo games still. I still like A Link to the Past. I think that's pretty good. And I'll probably play Super Metroid again. But I don't think I can ever enjoy them the same way I used to. And for whatever reason, I'm not into like randomizers and stuff. At least not for older games like that. Something I've always kind of thought about is, let's say you're a casual board game player. Casual board games are like learn the instructions, figure out some strategy. It may not even be good, and then you win or lose, and you have fun. Maybe you play again. This is like very casual board games, right? When you look at what the most advanced strategies are for really any board game you've ever heard of, they're crazy. They're just crazy. And as an example, Scrabble is bonkers. You have to, first of all, you have to memorize the dictionary because you need to know at any point what are valid words. Because if someone calls you out, you lose a turn, and losing a turn means you pretty much lose the game. But you also need to know what your opponent might be angling for. And yeah, watching competitive Scrabble is like they know every word and they know the scores and the probabilities of getting all the different letters and like what the opponent might be trying to do based on what they're setting up. There's so much of the meta game there that if you're just playing Scrabble casually, you're like, oh, I got cow. That's worth, whatever number of points. Great. Awesome. Meanwhile, they're like, oh, I put down all my letters and formed like 6 different connections of words and got 4 trillion points. Hey, Kavino. Had an urge to play Pokemon again some time ago. Game kind of got ruined for me though because I went so heavy on min-maxing the best Pokemon to fight each gym. Yeah, and that's part of this too. So in almost any game, at least if it's competitive, you have this slider of casual to competitive in terms of how hardcore you want to be about it. And yeah, the more competitive you get, the less fun the casual play usually is. Like I played Smash a lot, Smash Bros, and playing with items on, at some point it was just like, oh, okay, we're playing with items. Like this isn't fun. It because it levels the playing field. Whoever gets items can sometimes just win the game. Vice versa too. If you're a super casual player and you're playing against like very, very hardcore players, you're probably not gonna have fun. I see people complain about this a lot online. I play the finals, which is the only competitive game I'm playing right now. And yeah, people all the time are just like mad at other people. Like the word sweaty gets thrown around a lot. Best French Scrabble players in French. Yeah. Hey, Pickle. You should play Scrabble with items. Throw a Pokeball at the board. Charizard just burns all the other letters to a crisp. Maybe that is the way to play. Maybe I've been doing it wrong this whole time. Okay, so all of the code around get directional neighbor for the perks dialog seems unnecessary. Godot's flow container should know the focus order within itself. At least that's my understanding. So we just need to handle leaving, the focus leaving the container for the close button. Is that correct? If so, please update. I don't know why I say please. I guess to stay in the habit of saying please when I'm talking to humans. Get directional neighbor. It is perks dialog. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I can enjoy Pokemon again. I think so much of the fun of games like that comes from not knowing everything about the game. Like, imagine the first time you played whatever your favorite game is. There was a lot of discovery and fun and excitement and learning how things work. And that aspect is something you can't ever really recapture unless the game is getting new content or people are making mods for it or something. Because, like, once you know something, you know it. I mean, I guess you could forget that thing. Every once in a while, I'll watch a movie again, and long enough has passed where I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't remember how this plays out. But yeah, that means that, okay, only once every like decade you could go back and probably have fun doing that thing again. And it goes downhill. Yeah. I want this one on my team. Yeah, and not even knowing, like, at some point when you first play Pokemon, you don't even know what Pokemon types there are. It's like, okay, fire, water, that makes sense. And you find like bug or poison or ghost, and you're like, oh wow, like what else might there be? And your imagination starts to wander. And even if they don't fulfill those parts of your imagination, you're still left wondering, and it's still some amount of hope you have. But now you go back and you're like, okay, I know that I'm gonna encounter like these 30 at the beginning and then these 30 later on. I know my options are. So yeah, my understanding of this is that this is a lot of work to do basically nothing. Really loses its charm once you know all the biomes and structures and stuff. Yeah, I remember when I first played on stream with some people, like I had a 100 stream event or something like that, and we all played Minecraft, and seeing how other people are like, okay, we need food. Oh, here's how to make a farm in the best possible way. And even little tricks like how you get infinite water with just 4 squares. And you put, 2 buckets of water in the corners, and then you can just keep pulling water from a bucket there. So even those little things are things that if you didn't know, you'd go over to the nearest lake or you'd find some way to fight your way there. And yeah, it does change the enjoyment of games. Kavino, how's Astro Yoinkers going? Abby. Release date 2026. I see you have a trailer now. I see Luigi's in the game. I'm guessing there's a voiceover here. I don't have my audio on. Also, did you add that rainbow effect? That looks really cool. Just got our Twitch category. Nice. Yeah, IGDB is a little bit of a weird website, I think. They keep all of your old stuff on there no matter what, because it's supposed to be an archival site, and like that's their policy. So as an example, you go to the Skeleteller page, and yeah, they still have this upcoming indie game trailer, and there's no way to delete this. You can't remove it. Yeah. Want to come over? Yes, you do. Come on. Good cat. They're gonna keep my trailer. No, what I mean is you could have like different revisions of your trailer, and you might have some like 2-year old trailer that you don't want there anymore, and they put it on there still. So it's not like a marketing page. Well, I don't think many people are using it. Let me snooze this ad. I don't think many people are using it to like find out about new games. That's my guess, at least. Go kitty cat. All right, how are we doing on this? I was gonna take my break, and an ad was about to start, but if the cat's gonna sit on my lap for a bit, then fine. She is a cool cat. Isn't that right? You need your own purple shades. Oh, you're going to be bitey? Oh, what's that on your face? Hold on a second. Abby. Her chin is red. Abby. What is that? Huh. I wonder if she's having a reaction to something. Yeah, strange. Okay, so this is what we're doing right now. Let's go look at the button press stuff. So we have perk button. Action. There should be input or something here. We don't have any of that? Activate, I see. So activate's being called multiple times? It's when you press the button itself? Why is that getting hit twice? And is that being called from somewhere else too? Yeah, it is. Okay, I see. So the button itself already knows how to handle the input. Let me do this too. Seems like it's because of how, yeah, the dialog activates the button and the button itself activates it. All right, this is done. Good to automatically choose nearby controls. Cool, so we deleted a ton of stuff from here. So let's go make sure it still works. All this should do is let us navigate these buttons when you use the arrow keys here, yeah. Yep, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah, see, this is the stuff that I feel like if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, all right, everything works. Let's just check it in. But then you look at code like that and you think, wait, none of this is needed. So now let's go see what we have here. Simplify link expression, use all. If not, any perk button is the focus owner. Perk button 0 grab focus. Wait, hold on a second. Is that what was happening? Is that correct? I think this is fine. I'm gonna run this one more time. This should be identical though. Also, Wix, how are you doing? I only saw you in the morning stream. Hope you weren't waiting for jump time and it didn't happen. It will eventually. I'll just sit here and stare as everyone plays. Yeah, this is looking fine. Cool. So delete a bunch of terrible code. Delete a bunch of unnecessary code. There was, yeah, there was logic to control the focus order in a flow container, even though Godot already does this on its own. Okay, done with this. So this thing about pressing a button multiple times, we don't need both of these calls to activate. This one, for example, what is this? Yeah, couldn't we just delete this entire thing? All right, this time I'm not going to snooze the ad. So I'll just work through the break, I guess. Yeah, this is how I want it to work. So this was silly. Just delete all this. Oh, but this plays sounds? So we don't have sounds if I don't do this? I didn't check for that. The close button does at least. No, it's all still fine. Yeah, so this is all just a waste. And then this isn't needed. So cancel is only needed here. Yeah, that's still good. Love those toe beans. You're a good cat. Sinistella likes her toe beans. She's busy cleaning herself, Sinistella. Don't bother, okay? Remove duplicate button presses. 2 different entities were trying to handle button presses. There was no reason for this. All right, done with that stuff. Getting the colors to look good, we'll say till the end. So the tooltip is the most important thing now. We need some way for you to know what an upgrade is doing. This isn't the right project. Oh, you know what? We should add in the fave icon pretty soon for this. Stuck in a broken tutorial. Yeah. Actually, I should ask Quickie Joe to make one. Let me write that down. Can you make a fave icon style icon? E.g., we had the current Discord icon for Skeleseller. I need something to use for the executable. It's not super important. This is definitely not super important. Yeah. Aw, that's right. Aw, you hear that, cat? Don't let that go to your floofy head. Yeah, I said it. Floofy. Where was I here? Yeah, tooltip. I guess I did want Skeleseller open too. And, oh, man, I don't want this to get too crazy. I kind of want it to look like how it did in Skeleseller. So let's go find an example. Yeah, here. All right. All right. Yeah, let's go kick this off. I want to add tooltips for perk buttons. That tell the player what each perk does. So when a perk button is focused in the perk dialog, it should show a tooltip with the name of the perk. Well, actually, I should link to the code where we want this. I got to include the background. I tried Zed. I have not tried Zed. To be honest, I haven't really felt much of a need to switch editors. And the biggest reason that I switched from VS Code to Rider was the C# support and the tooling, which is kind of part of the C# support. Like, as far as editing itself, first of all, I feel like it's even less important nowadays with AI. It's like, well, AI can just write code however you want it to. And even if you wanted to write it all yourself, you kind of just could write it all yourself and then be like, okay, AI, go clean it up now or fit to my standard or code style, whatever I might have. Almost like you're just using it like an auto formatter. So yeah, I think the editor almost matters less than its features that it has now. And Rider does have pretty fantastic support with dot memory and dot trace. That stuff helped a lot on Skeleseller. A lot. So yeah, I don't think there's going to ever be that much of a motivation to move to some other editor unless I went like all in on AI. Then maybe I want some like AI first editor. All right, so we need the background panel. Where is that? Tooltip? Yeah, we have tooltip. Here it is. Label and custom content. Do we need the custom content for an ability tooltip? I don't think we do. Base ability. I think we just returned a table. Yeah, format. Oops. Format skill table. Format table? What did I call this? What? I just saw it. Form skill table. Oh, I'm typing format. Okay, form skill table. What does this return? Just a string. Yeah. Yeah, this is something like what I want here. I don't want to get too crazy with this Like, I like the style that we have. I took a picture, right? Yeah. I like the style of this kind of table. So we need these numbers manifested somewhere. I also need to think of how many upgrades you're going to have for each of these and like what the prices are going to be. For making it. It's another one of those make a game that has no real purpose. Yeah, we could have maybe like 5-ish upgrades for all of these. I think the most we had in Skeleseller was 7 at one point. And 7 still worked, but then eventually they get to be too tall. Yeah. So use this as a baseline. Show here, copy absolute path. With the name of a perk, a description, and what else? And a table showing how it levels up. Well, yeah. And either a table with information about how it levels up, or if the max level is only 1, no table at all. The tooltip should look like this one. Copy its panel container style. Yeah. Copy the image file that its panel container uses to the appropriate SIABT directory. Wix, do you use Zed? Is that your like primary editor? And if so, what drew you to it? Like, what was most interesting to you? All right, the tooltip should not cover the focused perk button and should not go off screen. In practice, this likely means that that's pretty much it. Generally, the size of components can't be checked until I'll just leave it like that. Yeah, I know how I would modify this. All right, what else do we need? How to form the skill table. And what else we need to do here. So yeah, look at code, form skill table. The information table should follow the pattern set in the Skeleseller code base. See form skill table in. Why did that keep happening? Just typed on YouTube, got a video recommended about it actually. Got pitches across between NeoVim and VS Code. Yeah, I guess it comes down to what makes other people switch in today's day and age. Because at one point, it was just editor capability. Like I remember switching from Sight to Sublime. It just felt like a totally different paradigm of how you'd use your editor. It was fast. It had great features. It was customizable. And before that, I don't remember what I was even on before Sight. But then I eventually switched to VS Code, and again, I felt like, oh my god, it's fast. It's got even better features. It's even more customizable. It's free. Like, yeah. Then at some point, this stuff. Well, I guess features kind of always matter. It's just which features do you care about. I never really used Notepad++. Is that your current editor? At one point, I was using some like C++ specific thing. There was something called Bloodshed Dev C++. I don't know why Bloodshed was in the name. And now I can't find that that was even the name of it. Yeah, Bloodshed software. Okay. Yeah, I was using this for some time. I'm a NeoVim user. Okay, yeah. especially across all these VS Code clones like Cursor, Windsurf. Yeah. Yeah, at that point, I would just change my theme. I've been using the same theme now for a lot of years. But yeah, I probably wouldn't switch editors altogether. All right, what else do we want to do here? Perk button is focused. It should show a tooltip with the name of the perk, a description, and either a table with information about how it levels up, or if the max level is only 1, no table at all. The tooltip should look like this one. Copy the image file that its panel container uses. The tooltip should not cover the focused perk button and should not go off screen, i.e. make sure it stays on screen and that the player can see what they have selected. The information table should follow the pattern set in the Scala seller. Following the pattern set, C form skill table. And then where should this information be manifested? So the way we did it in Scala seller is we had a base ability. I mean, this all needed to be functional at some point. This can really just be data, but the data may vary based on the ability. So I guess we could just follow exactly what we did here. We had something like customer speed, right? Yeah. So we had some data here. It said the ability ID, which icon to use, the display name, a description was here, makes customers move faster around town, and then the table that we had, which would pull from the speed list. Your sidebar, you're feeling burnt out. That's a little too bold. I don't think you can do that. I mean, maybe change the font size. Start there. Yeah, so base ability had ability data. We had this stuff, max level. All right, so for perk data, I want something like, well, how about I just manifest it myself, right? Gonna have perk data. So perk ID ID. This is an enumeration to use instead of the string perk ID. Yeah. That is currently manifested in parameters. Get display name is in case the language could change at runtime. I don't think that's necessary now, but I guess it's fine. Icon ID. This can just be a string to a path. Icon path. Path starting with res to an icon SVG file. We could do that, right? How was this done? Icon ID. We had a way to go from an icon ID to an image. Where was that done? Oh my God, there's a million of these. There's a million of them. This isn't going to be good, is it? Maybe if I just search for icon ID with a parenthesis at the beginning. Hey, look at that. That's smart. Get icon ID, get data. Data had SVGs. Yeah, we can just load SVGs. Okay, sounds good. Max level. Yeah, the max level of the ability, and that's all we need. Hey, go Deke. Change my editor with the project from a Linux shell, NeoVim or Vim. Doing C#, full fat Visual Studio. Because I have 98 project-wide solutions. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. I have mostly tried to stick to one editor. And the only time I couldn't do that is if I had a job at the time that required the use of a different editor. And yeah, that hasn't been the case for several years now. But I also tend to work in like one subset of technology. So for perk data, use this structure. Note the comments are for you, not to appear in the code. And I mean, I guess we'll go into plan mode here before I just kick this off. What else do I want to do? The only thing I haven't indicated yet is I do like this idea of base ability. Well, actually, do we need that? Hang on. If this is our perk data, can't we just have like a dictionary of perk ID to perk data, just like we do for basically everything else? So we don't even need the ID in there necessarily. Change the current instances where perk ID is a string into an enumeration, like how sound ID and sound data work. For now, just add a couple of perk IDs, customer speed, and more treasure stands, something like that. For perk data, use this structure. The comment is for you. I now have a cute flower. It's not a flower. At least not on my screen. Blossom badge level 1. How'd you get this? Earn this badge for watching a clip, VOD, or live stream 3 days a week. The badge upgrades weekly. Oh, maybe you just got the flower? For me, it still shows this. I think we both run VS Code. I don't think... Oh my god. My phone keeps lighting up. I don't think that it's too much to switch between once you've got some experience with both. I call that a flower. This is not a flower. There's no flower there. It will probably eventually become a flower though, right? That's at least what the evolution of that seems to imply. All right, show tooltip with the name of the perk, a description, and either table. Yep, tooltip should look like this one. So the description needs to come from somewhere. I guess I haven't manifested this yet. So we have something like this. This would need to be here. And we need some class that's going to handle this, I guess. It actually could just be a big dispatch function. Yeah. Does it matter? Let's see. We need to figure out what the list of things would be for this too. Yeah, get ability description. So get perk description tooltip. We would pass in your current level of perks. Yeah. Forming the tooltip requires the current level of the perk, meaning that once you level up a perk, the tooltip should change. This position should be deterministic so that the tooltip doesn't move as you always in this. Oh, I don't know. I don't need to write this. A flower in a different mind state. Yeah. Yeah. Flower in a different time zone. It's flower time somewhere. Man, I am so unfocused right now because I've had to use the bathroom for a while and the cat is on my lap and I should have taken a break half an hour ago. I think I'm just going to need to move her pretty soon. I have to pee. Information table should be formed using the following pattern. Perk IDs. Perk, use this structure. And in Skeleseller, we had a class structure that could handle getting the tooltips. For this game, we'll only have about 8 perks. So I think we can just have a single get tooltip description and table function. Oh, we don't need custom content. I forgot to write that. Yeah. And a that dispatches to individual functions as needed. All right, let's just leave it at that. Like I said, I got to take a break. I got to take a break. Abby, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. Is it jump time? Is it? Apparently it's not. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello, hello. Close the game. So, Godik, what did you think? Was that your first time playing? All right, it came up with this. What content should the first two SIABT perks use? New placeholders. Use requested names and copied icons, but add clearly temporary descriptions. Yeah, I think that's good. Why are there? I don't know. Whatever. All right, what should happen to the 8 duplicate placeholder buttons currently in this? Replace with 2. Sure. Really good idea. I think it's a cool little stream game. I wanted to make another stream game at some point, and I think thanks to AI, it could be probably pretty quick to make. Like that one was without agentic AI, and that took 3 days to get the foundation of. And I've been looking through all these asset packs. In fact, maybe I should write something like that down. Maybe I should make a new stream game using an asset pack that we find. Man, I kind of want to find that asset pack now that had, where is it? That had the like town builder thing. Pixel art. Was it this? No, it wasn't this. I keep thinking it's that. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just there's so many of these, and at a glance, a lot of them look pretty similar. Because I wonder if we could make a game out of that. This. Oh my god, I finally found it. All right, I'm gonna write this down because this intrigues me, but I don't know what to use it for. Let me show you this. Yeah, so create detailed rooms with a specially designed asset pack and tile set that allows you to combine assets natively in the game engine without using external tools. So they've got a bunch of different little rooms you can have. And you can combine them however you want. And I don't know how many graphics they really have for this. So it's like making houses and rooms and putting stuff in the rooms. And like, what game do you make out of this? I don't know. Looks like kind of Fallout Shelter style thing where you got some NPCs and maybe they have basic needs. And yeah, I'm not totally sure. I wonder if you could make a stream game out of this somehow. Like you're building up a room in real time and so are other people. Like Tiny Tower. Tiny Tower. Hey, Strudel. Helloski. Yeah, I guess like Tiny Tower. This was an incremental, right? Huh. Well, it sounds slightly incremental, but I don't know. And this even kind of looks like it's incremental. Kickstarter game I backed launched. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's always a surprise. I backed a Kickstarter game like 10 years ago that still hasn't launched, and I don't know if it ever will. Which temporary level curve should the tooltip show? Whatever. I don't care. Yeah. Should this tooltip task also make the 2 perks affect gameplay? Yeah. This doesn't matter too much. Back to the creator of Vata Land 10 years ago. That game launched. That game existed and was playable. How's it going, noob? So I gave at least one update per month, I think. It's by an indie dev. So it's cool to see the progress. Yeah, I've seen some updates on the one that I backed a long time ago. It was Hazelnut Bastille. And it still hasn't come out. And I don't know if it ever will. Yeah, it says coming soon. The Kickstarter for this was, I want to say like 2016. Here it is. When were you created? Where do you find the date? Estimated delivery 2020. Okay, so it was before 2020. So it's been at least 6 years. Oh, okay. Yeah, estimated delivery of that stuff is 2019. I'm just searching for 201 to find dates. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I could just search updates. Where's update number 1? Load more. Whoops. All right, this is not worth my time. Yeah, it's old. And like they looked like they had gameplay, they had a bunch of sprites and everything. So they can't be, if they were working on it, they can't be that far from a final game yet. But all the Kickstarter money must have evaporated. All right, so let's get this plan. Take a look. And let's do a status here. All right, copy and paste. Preview. Add a shared text-only tooltip styled after Skeleteller's tooltip. Replace the 8 placeholders with 2. Migrate all perk identifiers. Add perk ID. Yep. Sounds good. Cool. Migrate button exports, callbacks, purchase delegates, events, handlers, and lootbox level dictionary to perk ID. Really? Icon and maximum level of perk data. Yeah, okay, sure. Configure both initial perks with literal English names and temporary max 5 curves. Sure, whatever. Copy matching SVG icons and scroll to.png. Yeah, sure, whatever. Do it. I don't care. Actually, you know what? I guess we did have matching icons in there, huh? I didn't even think about that. I thought it was just going to be garbage data, but it's not. It's actually going to be correct. Tool description and table dispatching to 2 perk specific descriptions. Return only the description whenever metadata declares max level 1. Sounds good. Add a reusable tooltip scene containing the scroll backed panel container. Cool. Put 1 shared tooltip in this. Shows on focus, hides on focus loss, refreshes its text after a successful purchase. Position the tooltip using right, left, below, then above candidates. Apply an 8 pixel gap in viewport padding. Clamp the orthogonal axis. Use a viewport appropriate width. Yeah, this is worrisome to me because, well, I guess the tooltips don't have to be that wide, but they're probably going to be pretty tall. Place 8 duplicate scenes with 1 button for each real perk. Validate, complete coverage. Okay, public interfaces, perk ID. Yeah, nice. I mean, I think this sounds fine. So what are we at? 69% and 73%. Let's close everything. 69%, 73% after planning. And then getting colors and outlines to look good. And an upgrade to give you a portal. What AI? Yeah, I'm using Codex. And yeah, it is only $20 a month. Worms stream game? I think Worms would be super cool to make. I think making it as a stream game would be very difficult. And part of it, so there are a lot of constraints around making a stream game in particular. For those who haven't seen Worms, it's the typical, you have an army of characters, you can choose which ones you want to move, and you get all these sorts of like zany attacks, and your goal is to just defeat everybody else. So with a stream game, it needs to be pretty short, so maybe like 3 minutes total, because it's only on my breaks. It needs to be pretty easy to understand, easy to control, likely via text, but it could be through a site, I guess. And yeah, there's like some minor skill expression. And this is the important part here. the word minor. If you were to play like chess on stream, the skill expression is huge. So do you as a beginner stand any sort of chance against a grandmaster? No, you'll lose all of your matches. You have no chance of winning. There's no like, well, I got lucky, and no, you're just not going to beat that player. So with Worms, I expect that however the quirks of this game work, you'd eventually get to the point where you're just like, oh, I spawned in and this looks like it's gonna be fun, and then you get like airdropped and you're dead, and oh well, too bad. So maybe we lean into that a little bit more, and it's just like totally it's zany. You're not supposed to win. It's like, yeah, launch a bunch of projectiles, do something like this. Yeah. Also allow Cavino to use it. Very important point. Words on stream is getting boring. Have you seen the Animal Royale game that I made? Have I shown you that? Because that one was pretty cool. I'll let this play while the cat comes over and sits on my lap. You spawn into Minecraft. I made a Minecraft plugin. You spawn into it through Twitch chat, and you become a sheep. And then you aim your sheep using a chat command. And then every once in a while, all of the sheep fire TNT at each other based on where they're aiming. So it's eventually going to happen in here. So that distant sheep on the left side, yeah, just fired TNT. And it hit the one on the right. And then, yeah, later on in this video, I have a demo here of like a couple hundred people playing the game. And this was nuts. This is not supposed to be the standard case for this. But yeah, then they start aiming each other. And on the first volley of dynamite, like everybody dies. It's like 30 sheep are gone. And then even more. So yeah, this is pretty cool too. But because this is played in Minecraft and there's got to be a camera and there's all sorts of like oddities that can happen, it was just a little bit too complicated, I think. Yeah, open code seems like it's good. Hey, Caveman. How to make games for stream anyway? Are there APIs or what are people using? In general, the game itself is just a game. And then the API is you read from chat typically. But you don't even need it to read from chat if you don't want. Like that was Minecraft. If I wanted to, I could have exposed a Minecraft server and you could have like connected there and made your moves. But that would have been a little bit ridiculous for a 3-minute long game. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that a lot. Hey, Kevin. Kevin, I might as well tell you this now because it's easier than messaging you. I just talked to my wife yesterday, and mid-July, we want to have you over. So I will tell you the specifics later, but there will be sandwiches and ice cream. Thought just a web server, then some JavaScript. Yeah, that could work. Yeah. Hey, Jake. A long, long time ago, Pokemon, what was it called? What was it called? Twitch Plays Pokemon. I was like, I can't remember. Twitch Plays Pokemon was just a thing that had come out, and I was super inspired by this. So for those who never saw this, it was just Pokemon, but connected to Twitch chat. So you would type up and someone else would type right, and at some point it would determine which input should go through and then move the character up or right or press the A button, and they just played through Pokemon that way. And I made a version of this myself, but without tons of people. It wasn't all that interesting because Twitch Plays Pokemon with one person is just one person playing Pokemon with a bad interface. So you kind of need to have like fighting other people in there somehow for which commands go through. Resets in 21 hours, 100% used. I mean, at that point, you can just pay for some API tokens, right? Like if you really need to keep going. I've hit my 5-hour limit a couple times in using AI, but it's never really been when it's important. Hey, Kizu. Twitch Plays Dark Souls. I didn't see any of the other ones. I really like Twitch Plays Pokemon. I remember the view counts around them were about 40,000 people watching. And it was just crazy. There was like a little meme culture that formed around it. Yeah. I already pay $350 a month. Oh, okay. Never mind. Why not $360 though? To me, I started everything on there with my Nintendo Switch Lite. Yeah, I think Pokemon is a good franchise. I think it's going to be hard for me to enjoy the games anymore. There was that new game released called Pokopia, right? This seemed to deviate from the Pokemon formula at least, but I don't know if I would enjoy this. I think most people enjoyed it. If I look at Metacritic, I'm guessing it has like 87 or something. That's my guess. I think it showed at the right side. So whatever I just said was influenced by that. Yeah. Yeah, it's at 89%. So but still that's pretty good for a game. Like Breath of the Wild is in 97. Love this game. All right, so I want to talk about something here, which is stream use of AI. Like I'm feeling pretty lazy today. I will say that, but I've mostly just been typing prompts, reviewing code. I feel like this is what my coding has become, and I think it's still pretty good quality because of the reviews and everything. But in terms of stream content, it's led to what you're seeing happen now. Like I'm just talking about stuff more. And I think it's probably maybe better as a viewer because whether I'm talking about something to everybody or just about my code, it's still the same background noise. But it is weird to be in this. I feel like there's a big transition period here. I think Animal Crossing girlies loved it more than diehard Pokemon fans, though, right? Maybe, yeah. I didn't follow too much of it. I watched someone play briefly on stream, and I liked Animal Crossing well enough too. So yeah, I do wonder if you were to make a stream game out of this, what would it even be? And it's fun to think about this stuff. And anytime you give sort of an untrusted chat, like I trust most of the people who are here, but anyone could use this game if I had it open. Anytime you trust an untrusted chat with drawing stuff, they're going to draw bad things. So like you'd have to limit it somehow. And if all you could do is place like chairs and ladders and stuff, you probably can't get too out of control. But yeah, if you could arbitrarily draw things, it might be a problem. But still, like, what would this game be? Maybe it's just a persistent world that people are building up with rooms and stuff. And you've got some like basic building commands. And maybe there's a transportation time. So like on one break, you might say, okay, move from this room to this room. And it might take you another couple of breaks before you get there. I don't know if that's fun. Pokemon Legends ZA. It's not worth playing. Yeah, I haven't bought any new Pokemon games in a long time. And I don't think I probably will. Unless you count Smash Bros, which I don't. But if you did, I would buy that. Also, this is funny. I just noticed this. There's like one of those Scorpion gaming chairs and then those LED triangles that people have on their walls sometimes. I wonder if they just looked around their own room and saw that stuff. Mystery Dungeon. I played a little bit of that. I didn't have it when it came out, so I tried it again years later. I was like, okay, this is an interesting idea. All right, upgrade for the portal. We don't have an icon for that. I think it should be easy enough to get one, though. In fact, I could probably modify an SVG. We have one that has a portal, so I could just delete the thing that's coming out of it. But yeah, I want to get this done. This is like the main important thing to do. And then maybe we'll do some game design. Or maybe we'll do this. I don't know. One of those two things. But I don't have I'm not going to go code upgrades now. I'm not going to code this stuff. Yeah. Pokemon Ranger game. What is this? Action role-playing game. Did this release in the US? It did. Well, I don't remember this. Wait, it had some drawing controls? The DS had a lot of gimmicky stuff. I gotta say, I want to just play a game with regular controls. The first game I think the first game was that I played that didn't have regular controls was Kirby Tilt and Tumble. That was fine. But this was a game that was built around a gimmick, not an entire system that was built around a gimmick. This had a gyroscope or something in it so that you could like flip your Game Boy up and down and it would make Kirby jump in the game and tilt it left and right. That was a pretty cool idea. I have trouble slowing down. I find myself juggling multiple LLMs on multiple projects, creating tests for legacy projects, coding tests, modern projects. Yeah. Yeah. Had to draw around the Pokemon to capture them. What a system. All right, we got our code now. Let's see how it works. I might have needed to click this first. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's beautiful. Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, look, that was almost no effort on my part. Now, we had almost all the code already written, and I wrote it, most of it originally. So it's not like I just pulled this out of thin air. But wow. Very neat. Yeah, very cool. What am I making anyways? I'm making a game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. Let me do this. Wait, one sec. Something just came up as I was doing that. Let me write this down. Stabilization. I want to make the volume sliders more controller friendly. Actually, this is just a good AI task. I don't, it doesn't matter. I was right there. And then merch. Okay. Yeah. So I'm making this game, Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. Not Skeleton. And it's an anthology of other games. So you start in a platformer, you end up working your way over to here in the world. And this is after maybe 30 seconds, so I didn't skip very much. And this looks straightforward, right? You know, try to collect all the diamonds in one go. You can't do it. You just keep falling and falling and falling. And this is your first experience being in the broken part of the game. And you work your way through this realm, and you... I'm going to speed this up because I end up doing this demo a lot. But you will get to here. A little cutscene plays out. You shouldn't be here. Get out. And you end up in a farming game. So the game that we're working on now is a loot box game. So it's actually a trap. Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's just get this. So yeah, in each of these games, you're trying to figure out like, okay, what's really going on here? Like, is this a farming game? Do I need to actually dig anything up or plant seeds or something? And like, you can, but in this game, you don't have to. But you do need to tire yourself out, and you'll eventually play out the story a little bit more. And then get into the next game. And the next game after this is a top-down shooter. And you collect these power-ups. And fight monsters. And sometimes die. Yeah. Oh wow, I'm getting a lot of power-ups. Like a 5% chance. And then from this game, you'll go into the loot boxes game. So this one is about buying some treasure chests. And you can go and open them. And you get items. Which, unlike in Skeleton, you can then set the prices. And if the prices are too high, customers won't buy them. Although that's not true yet, so they'll buy anything. So you can set it to $9.99 if you want. And they'll still eventually buy it. And what we're working on is once you get all those upgrades, or once you get the money, you can then spend it on upgrades. Maybe wooden chests just shouldn't cost anything. I gotta think about that. Yeah, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen quite a lot where people are like, oh, I haven't even seen that entire game in here. There's also the idea of adding a Stardew Valley like mechanic. I mean, sort of. You're supposed to be in that game for maybe like 5 minutes. So there is some very light farming, but it's not really a farming game. There was some thought that I just had as I was doing that. Oh yeah, that's right. The balance pass. What is this blank bullet point here? That doesn't sound good. I think this is just to-do tasks. Did I not write down about balancing this? Here it is, balancing. Yeah, so what I want to do for this is figure out if we really need to make all of the treasure chests free. Maybe just the wooden ones are if you don't have the money. Maybe yeah. If they're not free though, then I need to figure out how the game is broken. Maybe it's broken and well, no. And that you can leave early and the game designer never intended that, the architect. Don't know. Stardew Valley mechanics. Yeah, yeah. Stardew Valley's a zeitgeist though. Harvest Moon isn't. Well, Stardew Valley was inspired by Harvest Moon. So it'd be like if you made a movie about, I don't know, traveling through space and you have these like beam swords and they're droids and stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, a movie was inspired by this, and it's like, no, this is like Star Wars inspired this, and it probably from there might have come from something else, but at least it wasn't a movie before that. Like Star Wars was the first movie. Never heard of Harvest Moon? Oh wow, yeah, it used to be a huge series, and then I think it died down, and I think they had a new release in the last few years. Oh, the series was called Story of Seasons, but yeah, didn't they have a new one of these? Yeah, Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. I don't know if this was supposed to feel like Harvest Moon. Oh, it did pretty well. What's the price? $40. What? Yeah. Looks Harvest Moony enough. Game name rights issues, yeah. Man, I played some game that I strongly disliked. My Time at Portia. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I don't understand what the appeal is of this game. Like the world's slowest game. And it's got very positive. How? How? What am I missing? All right, so I do kind of want to do some game design now. I think I'm just going to ditch this stuff and I'll just write where I left off. Wait, you can still do this, right? Yeah, you can still do this. I just need to commit this. And it doesn't get chill games. I don't think that's entirely true. I think Stardew is a chill game, although I didn't play it in a chill way. And I played a lot of Animal Crossing, although again I did not play that in a chill way. You might be onto something. Have I played a game that was just supposed to be relaxing that actually relaxed me? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. The Sims, maybe? Yeah, The Sims. Okay, I like The Sims. Maybe I wasn't the chillest person playing that, but it wasn't bad. Why is this so slow? All right, so what do we do today? Continued working on the loot box game. Got price setting and upgrade foundation in, both of which feel pretty massive in terms of impact. Yeah. All right. So here's what I want to do. I want to look through the Itch Summer Sale and figure out like what are we actually gonna buy. Actually, I know I should not sort by pixel art. We should just look through pretty much anything here. So for a lot of these, we got to come up with a game, but some it's just, do we like the asset pack? This in particular, I looked through this page already. There's a lot of complexity here, and there's like different ways of exporting and whatever. I don't think I'd want to get this. This is by the same person, and this looks cooler to me because there's some like action going on here. And this I could potentially see. These are sprite sheets, but they're made to look kind of 3D-ish. Like there might have been some 3D model behind this and they just did some export process. I could see making a tactics game or something out of this. I'm dying to get to the point where I'm not making like full games just so I can have two funny mechanics. This I don't think we need. Tiny RPG characters. This was free, wasn't it? No, $2.50 for all of them. This reminds me, there's some game with Kingdom in the name. Steam Kingdom side scroller. Oh, maybe it was just called Kingdom. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what this reminds me of. These kinds of graphics, because they just have left and right. So not meant to be like move up and down in the world. Hmm. Hmm. Rendered it into short video files they use in game. Yeah. Yeah, I think if you're gonna have really complex sprite work, it's easier to do it that way. I like this. Yeah, I like this. I don't really have an idea, but I like the idea of making a game that moves like in this left versus right kind of battle. And it just always reminds me of I forgot what it was called, but some StarCraft use map settings map that had you like buying units and then they just go in a lane and fight each other. And yeah, I could picture something like that here. Like Heroes of Might and Magic. I played 3, I think, maybe 2. I don't know. They all kind of look the same in the early versions, though. Yeah, something like this, where you had some battle scene and there were just characters facing either left or right. And I forgot how this game played out exactly. But yeah, what could we do that's interesting along those lines? Yeah, general thing is like, how would we use this pack to make a sub game? What would the gimmick be? And some of the games don't need to have gimmicks, or not like a strong gimmick. Like it could be mechanically based. All right, nice, Jake. The wolf and bear guys. I really like the style of all of these. I think they're pretty nice. They're pretty simple, but they've got some character to them. And all the weapons are varied pretty well. Like it's not all just the same sword. They have different swords, different weapons entirely. Some axes. Yeah. Finding cool asset packs and building a small game around it. Sometimes it's figuring out like what kind of game do we want to build and then figuring out what assets we use for it. Hey, Irad. I won't be streaming for too much longer. So it's nice that you are thinking of me, but your raid would probably be better served somewhere else. Hey, Agamoth. Good luck with this. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if you saw the actual game, but it's just a sub game in Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. And I haven't finished it. This is only day 3 of working on it. But you can buy treasure chests and then go and open them. So this is very Skeleseller inspired. And then the items, unlike in Skeleseller, you actually set the prices for them. And then customers might buy them, they might not. And then the upgrades you get are over here. I haven't actually made these yet. But yeah, this is what we worked on today and the price setting we worked on today. It's feeling pretty good. Oh, hey, Irad. Thanks for the raid. Welcome, everyone. Bit like Recettear. Possibly, I didn't play Recettear, although a lot of people told me about it back when I was making Skeleseller. So this is, let me tell you the real purpose of this game. So the first upgrade you'll be able to buy is going to be a portal that costs like 1 gold. So you'll be very easily able to get it. And you buy this portal and it opens off screen and now customers will enter your town. But all you need to do is just walk through the portal and you can leave the game. And that's it. That's as long as you have to play this game for. But I think most people will be like, oh, cool, there are treasure chests. I want to open treasure chests. And they'll just get kind of stuck here opening treasure chests and playing out a whole game that was kind of just pointless. So it's more of a social commentary. Also, Yagamoth, how have you been doing? I saw you had a push a while back to mix up the content and earn rent money. How did everything go? And Dreamer, thanks for the bits. Hey, TY. TY, you were the first person to chat in the entire stream, by the way, not even just amongst raiders. Did you manage to make the game not too frustrating? This one's not totally fleshed out enough yet to either be frustrating or not. I think we still have a lot of work to do. But we have the basic mechanics here. Like, you can earn money. You can't see what your money is. But you can earn money. Customers will go up and buy stuff. You can buy treasure chests. I mean, it's pretty much everything I just showed off. Yeah, you can open these things. All the price setting stuff. We can cheat in some players, some other customers, I mean. They'll go buy all these items. So working on things. Self-discipline is a work in progress. Yeah, it's tough. Tough. I hope it's been going well. I still think that Terraria one, the run you did where you couldn't press up was just insane. Like, that's when I'm like, Yagamoth has lost his marbles. Someone should help him find them. All right, so what we're doing right now is we're trying to come up with what would a game be around these assets. And this is one of the beauties of Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, is that a lot of times you think, what does my game need? And then you go get assets. But in our case, we can do it the other way around and just make a game with like these characters in an environment, and that's that. And they all have what? Idle, walk, attack, block, if they have a shield, hurt, and death. So let's just do some spitballing here. So this reminds me of a use map settings. Oh my god, StarCraft map, where you would get units, and they would auto battle. So I guess, yeah, this does fit into auto battle or territory in my mind. Like, you wouldn't directly control these units. And some, like, I don't know, basic gimmicks I could think of is like, you can place enemies down and they'll attack. You could only place like friendly units down. Maybe the healers. You just heal the wounded enemies. Actually, maybe this stuff's just happening. Maybe units are being placed automatically and battling automatically, and you have some other objective. Like, you need to, I don't know why this came up, but check their licenses and see if they're allowed to battle. It's like a Papers, Please kind of game. So now you inspect maybe their inventories. There are a lot of asset packs on itch that have just tons and tons of icons. Do we see any here for that? Yeah, like this, for example. Yeah, so like imagine you look in their inventory and you're like, uh-oh, this person's smuggling in, I don't know, mushrooms. That's not allowed. And you banish them from the battle. Is a current Broken Tutorial game a cameo to Skeletor? Yes. I'm probably going to rip the music right from Skeletor. We're using all these graphics. I was saying that one of the strangest things to me is that in Skeletor, your characters only ever walk around like this and just immediately go to their locations and do something. It's so weird to control this character, because you just don't do that in Skeletor. So it's like a different way of playing the game. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Why is it tilted? Why is what tilted? Oh, this is tilted so that you can't just copy the sprites, because that's what they're selling is the sprite sheet. So if it weren't tilted, you could just like right click save and then you wouldn't need to buy it. Yeah. So they usually put a lot of filters or effects over it. In this case, they're showing these probably because I'm guessing these are free. No, it's only for purchase. Okay, never mind. I don't understand why they showed those then. Maybe they still have some filter or something on them. This is part of a pack that is how much? $35? See, I'm not as big a fan of these graphics. I feel like they're a little too simple. Like if you look at any of the ground tiles, a lot of it is just a plain brown texture. And I know they have a path, but I like ones that have more of a texture on even the basic tiles. And yeah, they just do it this style for all of their asset packs. Like the grass is just a literal green rectangle. I'm just not as much of a fan. Thank you, Galaxy Inferno. Take care. Thanks for being here. Have a good dinner. Okay, this idea of inspecting their inventories is kind of interesting. I don't know what you would do. Maybe you could even see their, maybe they're like laws at any time. Reminds me of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. There was a law system. Like you can't use fire spells. And if you did, you'd get a penalty of some sort. So like I kind of like this. You're like the battle adjudicator and you have to inspect their loadouts. So you go up to a character that's battling. I don't know what the gameplay is for sure. I'm just spitballing still. And you look at their inventory, their spells slash abilities, and you find anything that violates the laws. Then yeah, you banish them. Low scope 2D MMO. I think that'd be crazy. Even making the farming game, which would just be one mechanic in an MMO, even making the farming game took like 3 weeks. And we're not done with any of these games, by the way. We still have a lot of polish to add. This idea of banishing things from a battlefield doesn't ring true with me yet. There's something else we'd have to do for that. But yeah, the idea of combining this and where'd the other one go? And this, I think it'd be kind of interesting. You go up to a character, you inspect their inventory. That they're battling only adds work for me, though. Like the battling doesn't actually matter here. And if you were equipping them, then you'd expect them to use what you equipped. So like a bow would make them shoot a bow, but we only have, one weapon for each person, right? Like this is the archer. Hey, you shine bright. Tug of War, if that helps. I think it might have been. I think there were a couple ones. I thought there was something called Unit Wars. StarCraft Unit Wars. I wouldn't be able to find it. If I search for Tug of War, does that show up? This isn't exactly what I remember what I'm seeing off screen. Yeah, is a low scope MMO even possible? I don't think so. Feels like an MMO. Yeah. How far did you get? Yeah, so we have the platformer, the farming game, the top-down shooter, and we're still working on loot boxes. And we have, in between these, we have the Architect's Realm, which is not a game. And it's been just under 3 months. So we're going at a pretty reasonable pace. I also just finished the music for the top-down shooter. Although I might still polish this a little bit. But I can play this for you as I'm blathering. Yeah. Huh. It's weird. It's not playing anything. This can apparently happen in both of these projects. I don't know why this happened. The synth doesn't load. Yeah, that's weird. How do I fix this? I don't know how to fix this. All right, well, I can't play the music for you. Let me write a note to look into this. Maybe I'll just update FL Studio or something. Let's see if that fixes the issue with loading synth 1. It's really annoying when it happens. It might be something else about this track in particular. All right, so if they're going to be battling, I feel like the battle should be important. I think the battling that they do should be important. I think I want to go back to like equivalence classes of brokenness. It's intentional brokenness. I'll just delete the quotes anyway. So, like, the platformer is part of the world is missing. It's missing collision, I guess. The farming game is like ignoring the entire mechanic of farming. It's and then like minor flaws, like not being able to use your axe. What else do we have? The top-down shooter is we lie to the player and tell them upgrades are temporary. And loot boxes is you can ignore the entire game and leave early on. This isn't, yeah, this is ignoring farming. So in general, it's like, all right, there's some part of the world that doesn't work the way it's supposed to. The entire game is not necessary to play. The game plays out differently from how we tell you. I almost want there to be some like there's a game that we show you, but the real game is something else. That's kind of how a lot of these things work. Yeah, how else can we break games for you? I guess connecting multiple games together. And I have an idea for this, but this is going to be like a mega project within this. I think some of these are just like vehicles for jokes. And then we slap on some brokenness on top of it. I don't know. Like I'm thinking one of the other aspects of this loot box game was that it was intentionally supposed to be the case that treasure chests don't actually take any money from you. So when you buy the 2000 gold one, it doesn't take 2000 gold. It's just free. So now you can just get as many of these items as you want for free. And it's just a matter of like setting the right prices on them so that you get a lot of money from them. And then the upgrades would take money from you. So here, if you were to buy these things, yeah, you would lose the money. Do you have a major or minor broken system distinction in mind when you come up with the ideas? No, not really. I think as long as an idea feels fun or funny, I think those are the key things. It's got to be at least one of fun, funny, or story driven. So like the top-down shooter is not a funny game, I would say. Like this, I'm gonna just give myself a bunch of upgrades. This is just a game, really. And I think it's moderately fun, but it's not funny. There's no story in here. The brokenness is still there. Like I said, we just outright lie to the player when you die. It says you died, you don't keep your upgrades. Here's some for free. But you do keep your upgrades, and when you die early on, it's just not obvious that you kept them. But like eventually you're gonna come back and you're gonna be like shooting tons of bullets and killing everything in one hit, and you'll be like, wait a second, what? Like I did keep my upgrades. That must be how this game is broken. And then yeah, you eventually make it to the boss room here. So yeah, I gotta think of what we need out of another game. Although we can always rearrange where games show up. So like the farming game could be the 5th game for all we care. Although at this point we've already coded enough of the story. Yeah. All right, I'm not sure. Let's move on a bit. I do like these assets though. I'd like to use this pack for some kind of Heroes of Might and Magic game. I had a vague idea about actually needing to inspect battlers' inventories, in which case we would use an asset pack like this. Yeah, I don't know. Love that game. I played one of them and I really liked it, and I never sought out any of the other ones. I played like 2 or 3, I think. So yeah, a long time ago. Another Metroidvania asset pack, Castle Edition. By the way, I think this is the style of game we've got to start making at some point, because it's not so crazy to just use the assets they have to make a game with this. Played 2 a long time ago. Yeah. I think I played 2, Heroes of Might and Magic. I think it was on the Game Boy Color. I always forget which number it was. It was this. At least I think it was this. No, there's apparently another one. There's this one too, yeah. On the Game Boy Color. It was pretty good. There's another game in Game Boy Color called Warlock. It was also an RTS. It was interesting. Playing RTS on Game Boy is not the easiest thing. It was hero-based combat too. I think this is what's tripping me up. Is there are only so many ways you can like break a game and have it be different from all the other ways that you've broken a game before. Maybe another way to think about it is like, let's say we had a game already, like Zelda, Link to the Past. Like, what would we do in this? And I have an idea for something that would work for a Zelda game, and I shared this already, but like a lot of Zelda dungeons have a source of infinite energy. Excuse me, they have a source of infinite energy, and no one's ever like, hey, we should harness that energy and fuel our whole town. It's just like, oh yeah, there's just some magic entity and they just made these puzzles for us and whatever. But it would be kind of interesting to set something like that up. Yeah. I also want to get this. I think this would be pretty cool for some kind of card game. Oh yeah, see you soon, Irad. I probably won't be streaming for too much longer. This is part of a bundle, right? And it's only $3. Yeah, they have a bunch of cards and stuff. I like this one. Is this what I have here? No, this is the Dungeon Racer bundle. Card bundle. Pretty card pack. Yeah, I like this. Do they provide those icons? I think it's this. No, it's not this. Where do those come from? Item. Where are the item graphics in here? Huh. You have any item assets? Working on the pack right now. Not sure when I'm going to finish. That was 3 weeks ago. I don't think they created those. No, I don't think they did. Can you link that one? Yeah, sure. That's the bundle at least. I don't know which one in particular you wanted, but they're all right there. And it's not that big. What's this? Pixel art swords. think they're all the same sword, just reskinned. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very torn on this. Like, I still think there's a lot of design space for this. I just don't want it to get. I don't want it to get old, and I don't want people to be like, okay, how's this game broken? Like, do I even need to play it? And maybe once that starts to happen is when it means that the game has kind of run its course, and we're like, okay, well, that's a gameplay length then. The cat just sitting here. Hi, yeah, this is my computer. Hmm. All right. Well, I probably need to just take a break. Think about this stuff. Um, Next week the schedule is going to be a little bit weird. I wrote this down over here. Monday may have to end early. Yeah. Incremental game is the flaw is scaling is messed up. Usually have linear power increase and exponential cost increase. Flipping that would spiral you to victory quickly. Yeah, maybe that's all I need to think about is just like one mechanic. I probably need to go into text territory for game design here and not look at assets yet. I think incrementals have a lot of space to explore. I don't want to do the same genre too many times. Like this loot box game is already kind of an incremental one. But yeah, I'll write this down over here. I could see something like that being interesting. Maybe you have different battle levels and you need to pick the right battlers to place, but you quickly get too many. This all fits into the like power fantasy archetype. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's it for this week. So I think this is pretty productive. I guess I actually probably did end up streaming for as long as I wanted to. I feel also like I've been kind of hanging on by a thread lately. Just that like I need to take some time off at some point, like proper time off. So I don't know when that's gonna happen. Let me go find somebody to raid. Thank you, Abby. Indeed. Okay, let's go raid. Failed to survive because it's Friday.
That has a confirmation.
Oh no, we weren't supposed to hear that. I try not playing people's streams before I raid them. Yeah, I hope you all have a good. Yeah, get ready for a good joke. Get ready for a bad joke. I hope you all have a good weekend. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. I'll be back on Monday. Like I said, I don't know how long it'll be. We'll be doing some kind of development, most likely, maybe some arbitrary tasks that we have. So yeah, take care. Bye, everybody. See ya.